is going on, crypto world? How's everybody doing? So day 2 of the correction, and we're still seeing somewhat of a sell-off continue, right? So we see BTC came down. It did show a little bit of a bullish pulse. We don't quite see a reason to go long here just yet, right? This could have been real quickly by these lines. So we did see this inverse head and shoulders, right? A pop up. I don't even think it had target. This could be a retest of the neckline at this point since it held up above. So this could be our initial neckline retest. We'll start off diving into BTC. So this could be our initial neckline retest. It could also be a retest of this pennant resistance area, just to make sure that bulls are ready to pick price back up. Typically when I see correction like this, I like to wait 3, 4, 5 days before coming up with a verdict. This last one lasted quite some time, and I'm saying this from experience where sometimes we will see a sell-off on a pullback, right? We see like somewhat of a peak here, and I'll sell off and I'll buy back 1 to 2 days later, then it kind of comes back and revisits that buyback price. So don't want to do that just yet. All right, so last time we corrected, it lasted 5 days all the way to bottom. It took a day and 2 hours. We're not quite in that zone yet. I haven't seen reflexive volume on the bull side. We haven't seen that. We did see a little bit of a trend line break on the 15 and on the 10 on smaller time frames. But we're back within this trend line, right? And one thing that's worrisome is we haven't closed above this 61.8 of this last impulse down. So this area up here, this would have been ideal for someone to add shorts, right? It's a pullback after an impulse down. The one optimistic view of where we are right now, it's a 1.272 rejection of this last move down, right? I'm going to kind of stretch out this fib, and real quick, I'm just going to add a chart to my layout, and we'll go to the DXY. And we did see a down move turnaround from that level. And go like to 60. Remove drawing tools. Alright, so we saw an impulse move down, and this was the 1.272 fib. So we could be seeing something like this develop for another upwards move. I think we're going to do that. Alright, so that's where that 1.2 level comes in. Did a workshop on this. It should be in our videos catalog if you want to learn how to trade this line. So just the fact that we're seeing that 1.2 hold up on BTC, you know, before I go full blown bear, I want to see that level falter. I want to see this break. All right, I said $11,269. As for our BTFD indicator. The BTFD indicator that we put out earlier this year, it has held up this entire uptrend since February, right? It has signaled the best times to add, right? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, a bunch of signals in here for this up move. So we're not in that buyback zone, not on the XBT USD chart. BTC1 has also been conforming to this, which is the CME chart, and we did get a touch here, right? It's been reacting more to the top band than the lower band. So we're at that top band. Go back to XBT USD, see if we've broken the top band. We're right at that top band level, right? It's not quite like, hey, this is great buy opportunity, but all these other ones are amazing buy opportunities compared to what we saw in this blow off top. As for this top, there's a link to the newsletter that I sent out the day before it developed, and we did say this is what we called for, that looks like the bull trap of January 2018 was coming back around. So that is what we saw, because we did see a pennant here. I mean, this is all bull trap territory. It's more of a bull trap This was more of a bull trap formations where we see this descending broadening wedge or a bull flag, right? And it breaks out. I saw bull flag, big DBW consolidation. We had some of our guys. We longed from here to here and then shorted here. And now we're kind of in the sell-off mode. It looks like volume's coming back in to buy the dip. But there's been a lot of selling. There's been a whole lot of selling. Put up the VPVR, visible range, volume profile. And kind of studying this top end volume. We're below this high volume node, which ends at 11,900. So let's call it 11,800. So we want to see BTC get back up here because we know now that this was the high volume distribution zone. If you guys have traded with me, you guys know I called this high volume distribution over here, and over here I said this is high volume distribution once again, like it's terminal. We saw this happen. We saw two of these high volume distribution tops back here where it did a double top before that flash crash to 6,300 that we did trade, right? So we did see the same thing happen here. Chart crack pulls back, and then we just continue upwards. This was bought up faster than it sold off. It was crazy, and we were trading it. So getting past this HVD, right? What do I think is going to happen? We know this is officially, I got a saying, it says resistance isn't where price is, it is where volume is, right? And this is where the selling volume is. So it's going to be our overhead resistance. If we can climb back up to 12.3. As of now, I don't see any kind of reversal formation happening, shaping up. One of our Elliott Wave analysts put up their projection, and this was our AAB. We're looking for a C retracement for an ending diagonal before we continue up, right? And you don't have to take these bars by, it might not be very much similar. But he's projecting that we're going to see retracement in 78 or 61.8 retracement, which is typically a healthy pullback. I did call alt season 3 days ago. I did. And if you want to talk shit, alts are still gaining, man. Some of them are gaining. So let's look at Walton. A few days ago, I did. And some charts are just doing that, right? So there's another bull flag, likely another breakout. Have you looked at Ren recently? I like to back up what I say, right? We were actually talking about this chart, and I said it's going to go up to 858. I still have the drawings on there, and it's at 969, and it was still in this range. So I did. Sachin. Not all started rallying, and I'll get into that shortly. I do have my others, and I do have my BTC.D. And I spoke about why I think all season's coming yesterday, so you probably didn't watch that stream. And the reason that is because if you understand what's going on here, I'm going to go over this concept one more time. There are 3 ways to increase BTC's value, BTC USD. One of them is fiat coming in the market. The second one is let's say leveraged BTC. So you take Bitcoin off a regular exchange and you leverage it to the upside, and you're essentially longing Bitcoin on leverage. And the third way is altcoins selling off into BTC so they contribute to BTC dominance. Okay. And that third approach is no longer working. And the third approach is probably the last means of market makers to prop the price up to attract more money and create a higher attract more money at a higher price, right? So if we had fiat coming to the market, go back to 240. If we had fiat coming to the market here, okay, and this is when altcoins started selling off, gave us a little bit of a push, brought in more fiat here, and now we saw really altcoins sell off, right? And now we're seeing that dominance go up and down. It's starting to get pretty volatile. I'll pull up that chart. So we're seeing all these attempts to deplete the altcoin market, right? To deplete altcoin value to get BTC higher, but it's failing. So I think of that as somewhat of a last resort. to increase BTC's inherent value, or BTC USD's value. And it looks like those attempts are actually no longer working. And once that stops working, and you can't increase BTC's value via selling off alts as a market maker, then what's your next play? You sell in a fiat, or do you buy back alts to create more BTC for yourself? So it's all about understanding market cycles. Okay, and I think we're pretty much fairly close to one of those turns on market cycles. Going into another thing that I called for, right, and that I'm seeing is from our macroeconomic parallel paper that I posted on our Medium. There should be a link to that in the video description. So this is the S&P 500 versus BTC. Since December 2018, we saw periods of inverse correlation where when the S&P sold off to its capitulation low in December, BTC literally December 14th, the sell-off intensified and the buying started, right? BTC made 31, the S&P lost 11. Then over the course of from December 22nd to February 4th, we did see another inverse correlation. The S&P made 16% up, BTC made 17% down. And then here everything rose at the same time except for up until like June 3rd, 2019, which is a few weeks before I published this paper. We saw an inverse correlation happen once again where BTC made 64% and the S&P dropped 69%. So it's not a one-on-one correlation, it's just an inverse directional volatility. So now what we're seeing on the stock market, and it's going to relate to when I think BTC is going to surge again, we're seeing what's called a blow-off top. There's been a lot of speculation on whether we're going to enter a recession or not, and it looks like we should be anytime soon now, right? And this was our target for the S&P, 298.89, and actually it's above it. It's at 299.32 from last stream. So now what we're seeing is, if we put this on the daily, right, we're seeing an all-time high on the S&P. We're going to see an all-time high on the QQQ. So I believe we're going to see a blow-off top here. And until this blow-off top stops, we're likely going to continue this downward sell-off unless this shift starts happening sooner, right? I mean, we saw a correlation with gold too. So gold entered a breakout as BTC was breaking out. So traditional assets, anything that's a hedge, has been, it was performing, right? So the hedges were performing, especially down here, right? And throughout this rise in index prices. All right, so going into BTC and others, BTC dominance and others dominance, and why I'm still somewhat bullish on alts. I think it's very close. Go ahead and just chop off two of my charts as to others.d. Another reason I think that this attempt is starting to fail is because we saw three similar highs on Bitcoin dominance, right? When altcoin dominance made three higher lows, right, prior to this next peak. And this next peak, it made a 3.87% move up, and now we got a little bit of a lower low. It's 2.4% lower. I'm just going to go ahead and remove that indicator. It's kind of dwarfing this chart. And I'm going to get rid of volume too. There's too many colors, too much noise at the bottom. Okay, so and now we're even seeing a higher high that correlates with a higher low. So there's been a lot of divergences on these charts. There's been quite a bit of divergence on all these charts, and yeah, so I think a turn is very much coming. It could be in the books any day now. I'm not sure how long we can hold up this uptrend because these attempts are not working, right? The attempt of propping up BTC. It's on a 15. I'm not sure how long this off is going to continue before there's a reversion in strategy, which is going to say, okay, let's buy alts again, moon them, bring in some FOMO and increase our BTC holdings for rinse and repeat. Right? It's just how market cycles work. Going back to XBT, I'm seeing some interesting volume come in. And let's go to the intraday. I mean, this resistance line is fairly skewed, right? We can draw it off wicks. Let's just stick to wicks. So we're still below it, right? If we do the candles and pretend that these are just fake outs, we're above that trend line. Once again, I want to see a 61.8. I want to see it close above it off that short-term move down. I don't know how sustainable it's going to be though, right? Because there's more of an impulse move starting from further up. So the most ideal 61.8 is going to be up here, this level of like 12.3, which coincides with that VPVR I was talking about earlier. ETHUSD. ETHUSD is doing like 2 bear flags, which I'm not very happy with. I think it's at a 1.61 from the last impulse. So going up to here. Turn out the 1.4, which is also a rejection fib. So I want to see it retest this level again and see what happens. Same for BTC. We want to see what happens at last low before calling a possible turn. I'm going to go ahead and put my BTFD target on here, where I think the bands might hold her up one last time. This only works on the hourly chart, and I think we're looking at 10,588. Right, or 10,605. Right, so this line's going to go up as the chart progresses in time. Video description, there should be. If not, hop in our Discord and we'll send it to you. All right, going over alts. Guys on Facebook, any altcoins you want me to cover? Yeah, I'll pull up gold and see what's happening on some of these other indices. And remove all indicators. Nobody wants me to cover any alts. Alright, so on the hourly, alright, this could be doing a pennant or a flag. I'm going to stick to candle tops, right? So it's still within that resistance. We're going to call this a range on gold. It's looking more like an ascending triangle or a symmetrical triangle to be exact. This can kind of wiggle out until we see the stock market do its thing. But all hedging assets have been appreciating. So May 30th is when this rally started. I think it kind of intensified with BTC. What did BTC do on the 30th? May 19th. So May 30th, right? I mean, we still saw a rise in hedging assets, and that was relative to the global climate, the global financial climate. You guys want me to look at any altcoins for you while I'm streaming, while the stream is live? I've got my volume monitor pulled up, trying to see where the volume is going. I'm going to turn one of these into USD. BNB. Alright, so BNB, we had come to the conclusion, I mean, it's definitely a hedge coin, right? And I'm going to show you something. A lot of interesting happenings with BNB, BTC. So we said it was going to turn here, it turned, and now it's kind of selling off again. I think this is going to be somewhat of a shakeout. If you go to, like, what time frame was it? The daily? it's at this critical support zone. And if it does turn around here and if it does it violently, it's one thing. There's quite a bit of uncertainty towards Binance Coin right now. It might actually come down lower and like wick down lower for just like a liquidity grab and grab some more BNB at and like shake out a lot of retail according to this trend line. But this has been historically a pretty good hedge coin. Let's remove all indicators. I'm gonna add a comparison of BTC USD. So where's my compare? Especially during previous corrections. Right, and once the BNB BTC correlation is done, that means we're likely going to go into somewhat of a bear market, and that's my view. And I can kind of back that up. Actually, we got a Medium article predicting the turn in February based on the correlation. I can pull that up too. So that's when we talk about when we say inverse correlation, inversely correlated assets. Let me make sure you guys can see this. I'm going to change this line to white. Right, so typically, as BTC makes these corrections, we're going to see BNB rise, and the same goes for the inverse. Can I shrink that? I can't shrink that, damn it. So you can see BNB make a swing high and BTC make a swing low. All right, so historically, there's been quite a bit of correlation, especially with these two assets. I need this line to load. As for right now, are we seeing any real-time correlation between these two? We sure are. I'd say we are. Right? I mean, you can see here swing high, swing low, leading. Swing high as soon as BNB starts breaking down, BTC starts appreciating in value. And we should be seeing BNB on the rise. We're not, which kind of has me hesitant, which could suggest that BTC could want to continue. If you go back here to our Medium, I posted an article February 7th saying, pretty much highlighting that the correlation was back. And you can see a lot of the correlation charts. And in the end of it, I said current BNB BTC rally could indicate that BTC USD is likely to experience upside volatility in the near future. And if you go to BTC chart, it was February 7th, right? I think the very next day we saw that first imminent pop. This was February 7th, and this was February 8th. Right, so the BNB BTC correlation told us there's an up move coming. So we know they're inversely correlated. If the sell-off's going to continue, and BNB acts as a hedge, that means that we're probably going to see a continuation to this run. If it doesn't act as a hedge, it's going to lead me to conclude that Binance is actually just sitting in fiat and they're not using it as a hedge. It's a pretty good read. I recommend you read it. I'll drop a link in the comments right now. You guys want me to cover another coin? Anybody? I'm gonna go over BNB USD, see what's going on in terms of that chart. So BNB USD calculated by TradingView. Awesome, thanks Abdul. So the BNB USD chart, right? It's not telling us much. I mean, this thing could be looking for a pullback, right? This coin started. I'm just gonna go down here at 7 cents. It's at $29. So BNB USD could be experiencing a pullback. Doesn't mean it's not gonna hedge though. It could sell off, just not as fast as Bitcoin, right? And that's what's gonna create a rise in BTC value. Now our volume monitor is pinging some things in green in terms of USD. Gonna hit it with a refresh. Thank you. And get rid of this. Go back to our momentum zone, right? That's when Alter's starting to look promising. Bat is not quite there. Early, right? So rent's still going up. It is doing a rising wedge though, and we're seeing these falter. We're seeing these fail, so I wouldn't FOMO into this. I'd wait for a secondary pullback. And this one wasn't doing like most of our momentum zone trades were, right? So it could be way ahead in terms of, it's probably way ahead in terms of cycle. And you guys have been asking like, hey, like, do you really think alts are going to rally? It's all about fine tuning a good cycle, right? And this looks like a bounce off the momentum zone a few times, and then once everything cleared, it was ready for takeoff, right? So if we're using this once again, you know, like 93% gain. So it's not all season all across, but it's happening. It's happening. Did Walton do the same thing? It's a little behind, right? So look at Rand. Red was above white, and now Walton is still below. So these are some things that we kind of want to keep an eye on for properly trading alts, right? So we did see a breakout, a failure, breakout again, pullback, attempted break, and then finally the surge, right? So we want to see some of these things happen. Maybe it's got to adjust our time frame. Yeah, and as you adjust your time frame, things are going to start looking a little different. So this was definitely a buy on the 2 hour several times. Let me see if Walton's doing anything similar. Back in February, March, we traded a pretty spectacular all season doing this on so many coins, right? Komodo was moving hard earlier today. So we're gonna see alts start moving up, right? It's not looking anything like the other ones. It's actually in the momentum zone. Might just kind of ping pong here until the red clears white, and we have a cross. What else we got, fam? Oh man, I can't tell you. You gotta be VIP to get those. I'm sorry. We can't show our market keys. The market cycles like that, they only work so long as few people hold them, right? When everybody starts trading them, they stop working. And I'll give you an example. Let's go to the daily chart. Back in 2017, we were trading some awesome moving averages and remove all drawing tools. And this worked on like every coin on the daily chart. Remove all indicators. And now this doesn't work as well, right? It doesn't work at all, actually. But back in the day, you put up moving average, and then a weighted moving average. and you did a 930.50. So 9. I'm just gonna make this yellow. VW is 30. And we're gonna make this red. And I'm gonna go to Bittrex because a lot of stuff was trading there before then. Before I had Binance, and then we're gonna do a 50 regular. We're gonna make this green. All right, so back in the day, we were trading this on the daily, and I tell you what, man, this gave me the most amazing bull run returns ever. Right, so these crosses right here is where we were buying, and it's like a fake out. But like anytime this happened, we'd buy, and coins would just start flying. Right, secondary crosses would start flying. And then, as the market evolved, right, they still worked. This worked 2018, still 2017, and then it stopped working, man. That's the thing. We can't share some of the things that work because they stopped working after a while. Put up BAT, BTC, right? Same thing. So, it's all about the cycles, right? People that are like, oh, season isn't coming. You just gotta wait out the cycle, man. And if you have a cycle and you know how to trade it, then you're gonna be good. All right. I mean, how many bull runs on BAT did this give? One for 250, another for 100. We can just trade this cross. Just go over here. One for 43. Another for, BAT might still be running on this, 130. Look at this shit. Anyways, so yeah, I can't give away all the keys. I just gave away like a pretty awesome one right now. BAT might still be acting up on this one key, right? And I actually built this based on some of the BAT movements and applied it to a lot of different coins. Even BTC was reacting to this a while ago. And it stopped. It started faking us out. Bitfinex. So, over here on this bullish break, it actually worked, right? But during the downtrend, it cleared so many times. It cleared once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6. And I was just like, screw this, man. I'm not going to use this key ever again, not for this chart. Buy. Based on 2017's bull run, right? This was October, November. We had a pullback to green, right? So we could be seeing pullback to green. And here we had pullback to green, close below once we. I'm gonna pull up our harmonic scanner, see if we're getting any signals on the intraday. Oh, this thing's not ready. Let me fix it up. Just a moment. We are getting a bit of a long signal here on Bitcoin. It's saying there is a little ABCD. It's putting targets up in the 12.9, 12.1. I wouldn't just trade those on their own. This is a 30-minute chart. Let me put up to 60. It's showing up on the 60-minute too, so we might see another up move at 12.9. That's why we got all these tools that it's bullish shark actually. These usually it's either a bullish shark or bearish 5.0. If it stops here, it's a bearish 5.0. It's gonna pull back down. The 120. I want to see if there's like a big bearish Gartley on top that could signal a big significant top. So there was a bearish crab. We even posted this on the 120. It's still below T2. So as you change time frame, you're gonna pick up different harmonics. I'm gonna duplicate this and try an ETH chart. So go ahead and do that. We are still loading. And ETH was leading the sell-off yesterday. It was definitely leading the sell-off. The first few down candles were on ETH, and then BTC followed suit. And if you think also he's gonna start with moons and like moons and moons, yeah, there's a bearish Gartley here, right? And it kind of like bearish Gartleys tend to like obliterate an uptrend. So 120, I'm gonna go to the 60, see if there's any kind of bullish indication on here. As I said, this was looking like 2 stacked bear flags. Still not seeing the reason to turn. 30-minute. No reason to turn yet. Where was I? So yeah, if you think like Alt's just gonna turn and start mooning, it's not gonna be like that. You're gonna get stopped out a bunch of times. It's just how markets work. I mean, if you look at let's look at like BAT BTC before every alt season on the daily chart. How often did it chop out? How choppy is bottom, guys? Bottom isn't a smooth number. Bottom is volatility. They want to stop you out. They want to do liquidity grabs. They want to pump it up, liquidity grab, pump it up, liquidity grab, pump it up, liquidity grab, and then start moving the chart, right? That's just how they are, right? So it might take like a few more days to get moving. But then again, we look at stuff like Walton. Whoever was criticizing my my alt season call, right? I mean, it's looking good. Anyways, take some more questions from you guys if you have them. I'm gonna look over some charts. I think right now is a really good time to like, if someone's looking at a master nodes, like started buying some more XZC a while ago. It's time to back here, bought some more XZC here for my master node. I had a master node in 2017. We bought this thing at $7.50, and it went all the way up to 140. So, if there's projects you believe in, things you want to put into nodes, right? It's probably a good time to start accumulating. This made over 100-some%, sold some, and then kind of buying back the profits. And yeah, stuff like maybe Stratus hasn't done much, still selling off, right? Wait for it to flatline. Let me check the ADX on here. And what's interesting is you got a CME gap coming up. Today's Thursday, tomorrow's Friday. So CME is gonna stop trading very soon, and we're gonna see a gap. And usually weekends are volatile, right? So somebody's looking to leverage a trade. I'd wait for that gap to come in. The only unfilled gap we have is like the 7,300 range. Weekend BTC gravity indicator. This one's locked up. If you want access, let me know. Looks like we had a down move to here. Wait a minute, price never went up. We closed higher. I'm not sure what happened there. Oh, maybe because it's July 4th, it kind of messed it up because Friday was like a half trading day. So we're going to see a gap somewhere, right? And wherever it is, we're going to have a ride back up to that gap or down to that gap. This gap filled a few weeks later. This is the only one that's untouched, right? So we could theoretically bottom out below my BTFD line. You could bottom out at 84.80 and then continue the uptrend as the indices pull their blow off top and go mooning before they come crashing down. I do have a CME trading workshop. So you guys want to trade the CME gap or learn how we trade the CME gap? It's actually public now. It was private, unlisted, just for our VIPs. I just made it public a few days ago. You go in our workshops in our channel. You should be able to get that and trade it. Just kind of assess the strategy for yourself. I'm looking for this to falter, right? Still not seeing anything bullish except for our harmonic, right? Our harmonic pattern is the only thing that's holding BTC up right now. And it's on smaller time frames. It's a bullish shark. All right, fam bam, I'm gonna wrap it up over here. If you have altcoin questions, go ahead and ask. If not, I'm gonna call it a stream. I think Link is likely going to rise again. This thing's been on a run, right? I mean, this started, I don't know what it listed on Coinbase, listed at on Coinbase, but I think it's going to find support here and maybe make another leg up. It's just, this hasn't slowed down since inception, right? Look at this chart. Either that or it's a complete bust. So the daily is at resistance. Maybe I'd stay away. I want to see what the USD chart does too. Looks like that Walton flag is starting to pop. On my chart up here. All right, you guys take care, stay safe, trade safe. Few links in the video description. If you want to read parabolic correspondence, make sure you subscribe to this. It's absolutely free. We send it out whenever we see something important in the market. So there was this one, and it said, you know, we had the targets from the previous issue, and we hit target 1, target 2, and target 3. And target 3 was on the final day, and then we said, you know, expect caution, expect a sell-off, expect a little bit of a bull trap. We had an ETH analysis, and we have our all-season analysis too. Anyways, fam, there goes that. That's our Elliott wave chart, and we do have an interesting announcement coming up tomorrow, like 4 p.m. So make sure to subscribe, smash that the bell button, because we're bringing on one of our VIPs who's become an analyst, and he traded 0.1 BTC into like 18 Bitcoin. And we're going to hand him over a lot of MEX channels. So, yeah, if you want to learn from him, he's one of the best that we've come across, one of the best that we've helped grow. And he's going to be handling a lot of the margin trading. Kyle Goodwin, XRP is dead. Let's see. Let me see. Here's the thing. XRP dies right before it rises. Look at this daily chart. If you expect Ripple to do anything before it capitulates everybody, by everybody, I mean everybody with a stop, except for like those diehard Ripple guys that got in at half a cent, right, or a fifth of a 1 cent. Some of my early adopter friends I know, they bought 20 grand worth of Ripple at $0.05. Not 5 cents, but 0.005. So at a very fractional price, right? And they're still holding. I'm not saying that's the right approach, because they did get a call from me like $2.83 saying, hey, you need to sell because I see head and shoulders up here, and they didn't. So, but yeah, coins like this, I think Ripple is a perfect example of a capitulation coin before a rally. We always see it drop before it moons. The Bittrex chart should have a little bit more XRP data on there. Yeah, man, look at that. I mean, last time Ripple rallied, it was at where it is today, right? We can see that red price line. And it dropped another 60% 5% in BTC value before it made the 545%. So once again, anybody that was like, hey, you said all season's coming, well, guess what? It is. It is. That's not about Walton, right? I was talking about Walton. I said it's doing a flag. It's going to break. You know, it's starting to move. It's starting to move. So momentum's coming back in. Let me check at alleged Bitcoin Ponzi scheme, perpetrator, home on fire. Let's look at others. I want to see what others is doing. Are we swinging back up again? And what is BTC dominance doing before I wrap this up? Yeah, let's go to the hourly. I mean, you see Walton moving up with BTC dominance moving up, but others dominance is still holding this higher low, right? I mean, I don't know what kind of divergences you guys trade, but if this doesn't look like it's starting to diverge several times, that's what a divergence is. And I want to see this. I mean, if this comes back to the bottom of the wedge, we're going to see alts make a big, nice move. Right? If this does this, it's going to be good. And if it does this, that's probably where all season's really going to fire up. Right? I want to see a third support. I wouldn't call this a wedge by any means. Right? But this could be a critical support level to break just because it acts as a diagonal support. Right? And move down. Anyways, guys, I'm wrapping it up. El Oro, Engraver, the legend. Welcome to the stream. Thankful it says 70% dominance first, 200 MA on the daily. Not sure SMA's work on dominance. 200 MA on the daily. On dominance? I don't see that. If you drop the link to that chart, actually you can't drop the link. The 200 MA on the daily is at 57 on Bitcoin dominance. It's not at 70. Unless I'm looking at a different dominance ticker. We could top out at 70. I mean, last time it topped out in December 27th was at 69.80. The weekly. There you go. That's an observation. It's looking higher than 70. It's like 71.60. My lines are thick though. I gotta wear glasses. Let me get our accuracy precision down to. It's a 71. It's a 71.70. Says it's a 71.70. We could. We haven't bounced out of it before. Let me try the 3-day. Right. It's below the chart on a 3-day, so we want to maybe see that act as support on the way down. But I haven't really used MAs on resistance. I've used MA on dominance. I've used MAs on like everything else. I think the key level is the top in December, right? And we kind of saw the same thing back in December, except for this time it was so much more elongated, right? Went July through, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think patterns are working better as well. A double top, triple top, that M formation here was tricky, right, on the daily. This one, and then it kind of continued to rally. But once again, I don't think this practice is much more sustainable to boost up BTC's price. I think it's just a matter of market cycles. El Oro, I'm looking for the same thing. I'm looking for another drop and a nice upwards spike in others D. It's just these divergences, right? I mean, I've seen. I wish I didn't remove all my drawing tools, but we see these lows and these highs. I'm just gonna go ahead. I'm not gonna type. I'm just gonna annotate with horizontal with verticals, right? So you see low 1, low 2, low 3, low 4. We see three higher lows on 3 same highs, right? So this practice, whatever they're doing to boost BTC by dumping alts, it's not working anymore, right? It was working, it worked, and now it's less effective. We're actually in a bearish mode right now. BTC's in a sell-off. So as market maker, what do you want to do? Do you want to keep selling alts and capitulating alts, or do you want to increase your BTCs? I think it's in market maker's most favorable approach is actually to move altcoins up. By doing so, they'll bring in FOMO and essentially be able to make more BTC instead of try and prop up BTC price by selling off alts, right? So here we're seeing low 4 on the others chart, and now we're seeing another higher high, right? And we're still maintaining a higher low on others. So yeah. Typically, we see relief rallies. We see 30-day relief rallies, and even in like the worst bear markets, we saw. We saw relief rallies several times, even in BTC price during the bear market, which was good, right? And I think we're going to see that soon too. Looks like BTC's trying to reclaim this support. Oh, Oro, can you drop me your Elliott chart on Discord for Bitcoin? Where do you see this correction ending? Yeah, so if we're back on Wicks, we're still below that trend line. But by no means, I mean, if we want to call this a descending broadening wedge, I don't like the angle of it, but we did see a bullish harmonic, right? So we could see this play out. Typically, I like to punch the stops, so stop run before the move. Here we saw a stop run at 13,166 before the move. Here we saw a stop run. So you're gonna trade our scanner, get ready to get stopped out, or wait to stop out and then short, or then long. That's how we've been trading these. Abdul, drop your Discord ID and we'll unban you. We'll figure out why you were banned. Pull up the 4-hour scan. We're gonna call it a day. 4 hours still bearish on a crab. Kyle, I think that's up to the analyst. Some of our most successful traders, depending on what you're trading too, if you want to trade swings or if you're scalping, or it depends on what you're doing, right? Personally, you're probably gonna laugh at this, but when I'm examining tops, I look at volume on very low time frames. And when picking good entries, we try to pick them on a really good, especially margin trading. We pick them on really good short, really small time frames, and you definitely want to use your fibs, right? So if you watch the fib workshop I posted the other day about the 1.272, the evil rejection fib, If you fib this move out, right, it'll give you an extension. If you're sitting on the sideline and you see a turn here and you see a retest, right, and this is probably where like you take the next swing low, or maybe you wait a bullish engulfing candle on a short time frame. It's like an extreme case, right? So we saw the primary test here, we saw a retest, and then that bullish engulfing candle. Based on our bottom picker strategy that we also have a workshop on, this would be the long entry here, right? With a stop below the previous low. And if you're trading a daily time frame and trying to draw formations on a daily time frame, you're not gonna catch this. So it depends what kind of trading you're doing. If you're margin trading, your margin for error is so small. So it's not the matter of no volume on low time frames, it's what volume is doing on low time frames. If you look on this breakout, right, breakouts that fail, even if we erase all this where the sell-off intensified, I'm going to kind of drag this out so you can't see that. But there was a lot of selling happening here. This was our distribution zone. This is the first distribution zone. Was a rising wedge here. I'm like, guys, this is high volume distribution. They're selling into this breakout. And Royal 0836. All right, we'll get you back in. So I'm expecting some more downwards action, maybe a retest to this level. We did have a 1.272 here. Ultimately, based on these swings, looks like that 200 MA is holding up as support, right? That we put up earlier. That's on a 2 hour. So based on these swings, I want to see a move to the 1.2. I'm going to pick swing low, swing high. I want to see a move down to here, like 10,000 mark. Still ring a higher low, and we could still be bullish, right? And that's where this one turned at 1.2. This has been the rejection fib. It's been the rejection fib so strong that even this last move up was a 1.272. Right, if you take this swing, that was a 1.272. Awesome, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in to this stream. Hop back on Discord. If you're banned, we'll unban you. Subscribe to our newsletter. It's free. We had the upwards target for Bitcoin. We had the on over here. So past issues. Oh, it's BTC ETH. Right. We had a 12.3, 12.7. Right. We had two targets. There's a parallel for caution. 7.10 was yesterday. The sell-off intensified. So just tune in. You don't have to listen to us, but at least read what we publish. And make sure to subscribe on Medium as well. I'm going to write an article on market dominance and market cycles and what altcoins actually are and their inherent value. Sweet fam. Thanks for tuning into this stream once again, and I'll catch you guys on Discord.